Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for another episode of Ecommerce Espresso. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the webinar that is shorter than your coffee break. To keep these episodes quick and insightful, we don't hold a Q&A here, but if you do have a question that you'd like answered by me or today's guest, just reach out over email or social media and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So today I am being joined by Jason Anderson from Andzen. Jason, would you like to tell the audience a bit about yourself and Andzen?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, so my name's Jason and I'm from Andzen. We're a customer journey marketing agency. So we specialize in email marketing, SMS marketing, really any of those one-to-one channels that you have with your customers. So we do a lot with your reviews, your loyalty as well, and subscription brands. So we're an elite Klaviyo partner, which was really exciting. We recently became the 5th partner globally to be elite, and we were the first ones in APAC. So really excited to be doing a lot of work with Klaviyo and obviously a lot of work with LoyaltyLion in the loyalty space as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, so the news about that, congratulations to everybody. Yeah, well done, it's major. So we'll get stuck in with our first question, which is about Klaviyo. So as a new Klaviyo Elite Master Partner, what are your top 3 flows a Klaviyo user should set up?
So if you're just getting started with Klaviyo, or maybe you're using a different email platform and you've moved over to Klaviyo because you want to sort of get more out of email, there's 3 steps really, or 3 things that you really want to get set up straight away. From an automation point of view, the first things that you want to start off with would be your welcome series. So that series of emails that onboards and nurtures a new customer, each introduces them to your brand. Your abandoned cart series is, of course, really important. You want to make sure that you're salvaging as many of those orders as possible. And your post-purchase flow, once people have come in and had that great experience, they've bought something, the most important thing from there is to really nurture them and celebrate that purchase, give them a great post-purchase experience and make sure that they're coming back and ordering again in the future.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you for that breakdown. I know there's a lot more that can be done with Klaviyo flows, but it's good to kind of strip it back to the basics as well and know the top 3, I guess, that that merchants should focus on and then build on from there, really, right?
Absolutely. And the great thing about using Klaviyo, and I guess a lot of the reasons why people move to it, is because it is a lot easier to build something a little bit more intuitive and personalized. For example, your welcome series, we talk a lot about with our clients that we know sort of in the first 7 days of someone subscribing that your open rate should be around 50%. So you've basically got a 1 in 2 chance of people opening emails in that series in that week. So you should take advantage of it. You don't want your welcome series to just be 1 email or even only 2 emails. Why not make it 3 emails, maybe even 4, and try and fit those communications into that first 7 days and educate people about your product, about your brand story. Use that as a time to bring really rich user-generated content in, like your product reviews. It's really easy to do that and create a flow that's going to put a customer on an actual journey and help them decide that shopping with your brand is what they want to do compared to maybe shopping with a competitor, or maybe just not shopping at all, and not if they're inspired enough to get on the website and look at the products that you're offering and sign up, they're obviously right on the edge. So give them as many reasons as possible to get over that hurdle and spend some money. And similarly with your abandoned cart or your post-purchase sequence, right? It doesn't need to just be 1 email. Particularly for abandoned cart, it's very easy to build a flow that separates new customers and returning customers. And you can speak to those 2 groups very differently. And I can guarantee you that those 2 groups will appreciate being spoken to differently. For a new customer, you probably do want to do a little bit more objection handling, right? Talk about maybe your returns policy if you have things like buy now, pay later options that they can spread their payments out. Talk to them about shipping options and times, using reviews. These are all things that are going to help people just get that little nudge and go like, oh, you know what, yeah, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to buy it and test this brand out, compared to a returning customer who's maybe knows all about your brand already, right? And you maybe have some more personalized message for them that's going to be talking more about that they're an existing customer really great time to bring things like loyalty in. If you're using LoyaltyLion and Klaviyo and you've got them integrated, you can do things like include their refer a friend link in the email and say, hey, you left this cart behind. Do you want to get a discount on it? Refer a friend and you'll earn some rewards to go towards this. Or you can highlight how many points they might have, for example, in the email, and let them know if they've got a credit or not that they could use to help them get over the line. So all these little different things are very easy to set up and actually make a huge difference. I mean, we're all consumers as well, right? And I think we can appreciate that if a brand spoke to us like that, it just builds that much more personalized connection. And yeah, lastly, I guess with post-purchase, I would just say as well, think about things that you can do in that series that go beyond just telling people to shop again, but actually create an experience afterwards. So, if you're a fashion label, are you sending out product care emails after someone places an order? You can send that out if you know that your average shipping time is 4 or 5 days. Have an email that goes out after that time to say, hey, you should have your order by now. Here's some instructions on caring so that your product lasts as long as possible. They're small things, but they're the type of extra mile things that customers are going to appreciate and that they're really easy to do. And that's the sort of stuff that is going to get someone coming back, right? Or that's the kind of thing where if someone, like we talk about word of mouth in Australia, that's someone that is going to be at the pub with a mate going, oh, like this thing that I bought from this place, and this is the experience I had. Those kinds of conversations happen when a brand goes a little bit above and beyond.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you can really tell when that happens to you and it stands out amongst the crowd of like other brands that you're purchasing from. When that little bit of extra care goes into it, you really feel it, and you want to celebrate it and share it with other people. So if it's something that's easy to set up, I think people will be missing out if they didn't.
Yeah, and then I think if there was sort of an extra thing that I'd suggest, and it's pretty relevant. If you're listening to this and you're in the UK, or if you're in Australia, Klaviyo recently releasing SMS, and they've sort of beefed up their form experience as well. So aside from the automations, the only other thing I would say is, if you're in this holiday period and you really want to maximize it, you can just add a step to your form. So you can now add basically like a middle page after email where you can ask people for SMS consent as well. So that way it's not going to interrupt your experience that you might have already working really well, where you're using your pop-ups to capture email, but it just adds that step in for people who are really keen. They can add SMS and you can start building that SMS list. And obviously around major sale periods, a great way to cut through all the noise of an inbox is to be able to send people an SMS and get them shopping, straight away, or send them timely messages like sales ending or discounts expiring.
Absolutely. I have a great story from when the Facebook and Instagram had that blackout recently. And I got this text from a makeup brand that is an Irish brand that I really like, called Be Perfect. And they just sent this text that was, Facebook and Instagram are down, but we're not on our sites, and here's like a 30% discount code or a voucher. And I was like, oh my God, that's ingenious. And they must have done it so quickly, but it really cut through all that noise. And I actually ended up clicking on the link thinking, well, I'll take that 30% off voucher. And there was a waiting page. There was like a 50-minute wait to get through all of the other people, the traffic in the site that had gotten there. So a big well done to that brand. They really use that to their advantage. But it's just, SMS is something that's really popular right now, a popular topic, I think. And that was just a story that I was like, it works very well at times.
SMS marketing, we always talk about it. It's one of those things that it's sort of a big responsibility. You have to use it effectively. You're going to upset people if you abuse it. But if you do use it well, and the sort of mantra that we use internally is we say, if you're a consumer, would you be annoyed to not receive this message? And, if it's 30% off a product like makeup that you have to buy all the time anyway, who doesn't want to receive that message? And if you're a brand that's on the fence about whether SMS is a channel that you could or should use, when you think about it from that perspective, think about your loyal customers. When you launch a new collection or a new product line, they probably want to be the first ones to know, right? They don't want to be at work come online 4 or 5, 9 hours later and find out that everything's sold out. That's a terrible experience for them. But what they would love is, to get an SMS straight away and be able to go and shop and get that early access. That's the dream for your customers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think email is great, but it's not as instant. Whereas SMS is just straight there, notifying you. Brilliant. Well, that was a great discussion. We'll move on to our second question, which is, what do you think is the most important automation for driving customer retention?
I think from a retention point of view, it's definitely that post-purchase experience. Obviously, trying to build, like I was talking about before, an experience that's going to get someone talking, someone thinking, and ultimately someone wanting to come back and build their collection. And there's a few things that probably go into it. We talked about product care before. We work with a company called Muscle Nation here, which is a huge activewear brand, and doing something like the product care flows. We created this automation that kind of dynamically looked at what was in the cart and displayed different things in the email based on the collections that were in their cart. So say, they sell jumpers and things like that, as well as activewear. So, if someone had sort of a fleecy product, there would be the product care for fleece, or if they just bought leggings or whatever they might be, it would just be for that. And, on the face of it, you probably think to yourself, well, who wants to get a product care email every time that they place an order? But by just putting a little bit of intelligence in there, that email is different every time and it's personalized, and people do get it and they do enjoy it. The amount of times they've got a private Facebook group that people can join. And I've seen people screenshot their emails and post it in there and say, oh, I'm so glad that I got this email, because I never would have put these leggings in their own cold wash. I would have just thrown them in with everything else and they would have been ruined. And people, like I said before, people talk about that kind of experience, because that's the difference between them, chucking those leggings in the wash with everything else, having them be destroyed, and then thinking, well, this must be a really cheap and nasty brand if this is what's happened. When the reality is, there's just some simple instructions that go with the quality product to make sure that it stays in top condition. And maybe that's the reason it's a quality product, is why it has why it comes with these extra instructions. That sort of thing is what really builds loyalty. But there's other things that you can do around rewarding experiences as well. So we've recently done something with a brand here in Australia called Moana Bikini. They're obviously a bikini brand, as the name probably suggests, but they've got a huge social following, and they really wanted to reward customers who are creating user-generated content. So one way to do that was through reviews, but another way to do it was through using a platform called Gatsby, which can track sort of social engagement. And we basically built this whole post-purchase experience around saying to people, hey, if you really love your product and you want to share it on social media, tell us what your Instagram handle is. And if you post and you tag us, we'll give you a certain number of loyalty points through LoyaltyLion as a reward. So, doing little things like that give people, that excites people. If people like your brand, they're probably going to be sharing it on social media anyway, doing out their hauls and all that sort of stuff. So if you're rewarding them again, it shows that you care about the customer, that they're maybe not just, that order isn't just another number, that you're actually trying to engage with them about the order, about the product that they've got. Those little experiences, those things that are going to bring people back. And ultimately, I think it's about showing that you care. Another great thing you can do, for example, with Gorgeous, or one of the help desk tools, if a ticket does open that's related to an order, all of the information about that ticket can come into Klaviyo as well. So you can really easily have rules set up so that if someone, is dissatisfied, or if they leave in a review and the review is a not a satisfied review, having dedicated emails that go to them afterwards to say, hey, we saw that you weren't, your review was only 2 stars. Would really love to help you with your order. Here's how you can contact our customer care team and we can sort something out for you. Those are those opportunities where you're turning a disaster into a win.
Absolutely. Yeah, those support responses and how complaints or issues are handled are super key for building and maintaining that customer loyalty. There's nothing worse than having an issue, or just your post-purchase experience and feeling that you're just abandoned, or you can't find how to contact them, or how to alert them to an issue, or you know, find something wrong with the delivery. There's nothing worse than feeling like you're abandoned by that brand once the order is complete. You know, it's like, oh no, we've got your money now, we don't really care about you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've checked that box now. We can move on.
No one's going to return to a brand that doesn't have that kind of support and care and attention afterwards. Definitely. I recently had a bit of a focus group with some of the team members here, and we were just going through some positive and negative online purchasing stories, and a lot of them were to do with like delivery was one theme that came through, and then lack of communication was another strong one. And but even still, like you said, it was interesting how some of the negative stories were actually positive ones. They started off with, oh, I had a complaint with this or that, but actually it was a positive story because the way they handled the customer support was, you know, easy returns, or I spoke to someone who refunded something straight away, and then that's a positive story that they're going to share with, you know, people who listen. So really important, that aftercare, that post-purchase experience, like you say, for building customer loyalty and retention.
For sure.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We're into our last question already. So the last one is, what 3 things should merchants change or incorporate in their emails for the upcoming holiday period?
That's a good question. I think a big one that we're talking about a lot with merchants at the moment is your reviews. I really, really encourage you to look at your review request experience. You know, at this time of year, you're probably right in the thick of your Black Friday sale right now when you're watching this. So you're going to have a lot of people submitting orders, and in, you know, somewhere between 7 and 14 days, you're going to have a lot of people receiving an email asking them to leave a review about their experience. So some really important things that we've done in the past. If you expect to have shipping delays, extend that review period. Make sure that you're not going to send it in 7 days and the product is still, you know, 2 weeks away from arriving. Have something set up so that if people have open support tickets, that they're maybe not going to receive a review request. It sounds simple, but I'm sure, you know, we've all had those experiences where someone comes and just leaves a really terrible review because they say, well, I haven't got my product and I've got a support ticket. We don't want them leaving that on the website, right? We want to keep that in support and with your customer care team. But even away from the negative stuff, on the positive side, you really want to capture as many reviews as possible. So, you know, if currently your review request flow is just one email that fires off and that's it, if they don't leave a review, you give up, you know, add some follow-ups in there. It's a busy time of year. Christmas is coming. You know, people are going to be all over the place. Now is a time to make sure that you're following up with people and you're checking back in. If you're using a tool like Ekendo to capture reviews, their integration with Klaviyo, you can send review requests via SMS. So, you know, that's hugely powerful, so much more convenient than sort of doing it via email. And then discounts. So, you know, if you're thinking about how you're going to, you know, promote and market your product next year, reviews are probably going to play a really crucial part of that. And so, you know, maybe it does make sense to offer a discount if you weren't offering one. If your margins can allow for it, you know, don't go into the negative margin just for the sake of reviews. But, you know, if your margins can allow for it, maybe it is worth offering a little bit extra off what might be their second or third purchase to get all these customer reviews at this time of year. It's going to really make a difference next year for all of your other marketing channels, right? You know, it should help with your social media spend, your Google ad spend, all of that, because people are going to be coming on the website and they're going to see hundreds, hopefully, of positive reviews rather than maybe just tens. So that's a really important one. Another thing I would say is be looking at your automations and be really careful with maybe some of the incentives and discounts that you have built in there. You know, if you have an abandoned cart flow, for example, that just offers 10% off after the third email or something like that, and you're about to put a 30% sale on the website, make sure you're turning that email off, or, you know, you're doing something there that is going to protect your margins. Look at sort of the branding and designs of those emails as well. So specifically during your Black Friday sale, you know, you want to make sure if you've got a really nice piece of artwork on the front of your website, put that on the front of your abandoned cart email as well. Remind people of the fact that this is a limited time sale, biggest sale of the year. If they don't take advantage of it now, it's going to be gone. And then the other big thing for us is to just be thinking about your loyalty experience, what that looks like. So from a points point of view, what are you doing during that holiday period to get people redeeming their points, but after the holiday period, how are you going to bring that points and loyalty message back in? Because you don't want to have a whole bunch of new customers come in November, December, and then, not hear from them again until next year. You want to be able to try and get them back in, whether it's shopping for themselves or maybe shopping for a gift. So remind them of their points balances. If you've got a tiered VIP system, send them those prompts about how close they might be to the next tier and some of the rewards that are in there, and give them a really good reason to come back and shop.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. On the reviews side of it as well, you can take advantage of those loyalty program members or people who aren't members yet and offer points for stuff like that as well, which could kill two birds with one stone. You might get that review, and then you might have them signed up and engaging with your loyalty program, which will give you that channel to keep them coming back in the future, definitely.
And refer friends. Sorry, I completely forgot about that, but again, referrals, right? Perfect time of year to be taking advantage of referrals. Everyone is looking to buy gifts and things like that. If someone has a really good experience, they're going to want to tell people about it, or tell people where they got these gifts from. So refer a friend as well, really powerful.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with your using those loyalty data and loyalty points of information in your emails as well, just to, again, kind of entice them back to the site. And that's kind of the hardest part. That's half the battle, isn't it? If you can get them onto your website at this time of the year, people are going to buy. They're in the mood to buy. They're in the mood to buy. They've money saved, money put aside. This is the time. If you can actually, use those points reminders or balance updates to bring them back into your website. That's kind of half the battle, and it should be not, maybe not easy, but it'll get you halfway there, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Jason. That's unfortunately all we have time for. This brings us to the end of our episode of Ecommerce Espresso. I hope you all found it valuable and you've been left with some great ideas and insights. As always, we'll be sharing the on-demand recording. So if you feel like you missed something, don't worry. We'll send you an email. You can watch it back. And one last big thank you to Jason for being today's guest speaker.
No worries. Happy to join. And if you're interested in learning more, feel free to jump on the website, andzen.co. Thank you for having me today, guys. I hope I'm able to help you get the most out of this holiday period.
Brilliant. And if there's any questions at all, just email us or reach out on social media, and we'll of course come back to you. See you all online again soon.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Ecommerce Espresso. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want more of these short but insightful webinars, you can catch all of our previous episodes over on our YouTube channel. Just search for LoyaltyLion. Before you go, why not see if you can identify the gaps in your loyalty strategy that are costing you the most with our retention score sheet. You can see how your approach matches up with our downloadable tool over on loyaltylion.com/retention score sheet. That's loyaltylion.com/retention score sheet with no spaces. We'll see you soon for our next Ecommerce Espresso.